It's a British broadcast. You're going to have tea.
Yeah, you made everyone tea.
Yeah.
Oh, man, bro. Thank you.
I was prepared for a child, but we looked after David Lade for a week.
You're ready for anything.
You go to the adoption agency, that's one of the tick boxes. Are you prepared? Have you spent any amount of time with David Lade? But did he die? Alright.
Hey, George, from like...
Cool. Are we recording now? Is that rolling?
Yeah.
We're good?
Yes.
Man, I like these dogs.
We're ignoring the dogs. Stop taking pictures of the dogs. We're supposed to be doing a podcast.
What's doing?
Why are we starting and taking pictures of dogs? Welcome everybody to the first podcast that we're going to be doing here, and we're going to be aiming to do one of these with the noise of David Lade in the background, and who we probably should not have so many spillable drinks near. For those of you that don't know who we are, we're going to just introduce you to everybody in the room. We are a group of noisy fitness tubers. Why have you got a spoon and a cup on a podcast where the only thing people should be hearing is a voice?
Sugar in here.
The spoon is standing
Everybody
upright in
remove
the
your
sugar.
spoons from cups. Take the spoons like a...
Oh my god.
Wow.
I don't even have a cup.
Worst start never.
All the sounds are coming out.
We're good. People, I'm guessing people have like slurping noises, spoon noises, and they're trying to listen and do God knows what.
I'll keep
So-
slurping to a minimum.
For those that have just, oh Jesus Christ. For those that just found us randomly and don't know who you're listening to, other than it is not a sexual show, no matter the noises you have heard. In the room we have myself, Lex Griffin. We have next to me the Yuckster, Yucky Lavado. Next to him we have the Slurpy David Lade. Next to that we have Brittany Lesser. That's correct, isn't it? Yeah, Brittany Lesser. We have Matt Ogus underneath Brittany Lesser in a non-sexual way. And to my right, my lovely wife, Lainey Bobster.
That's the first time you called me your wife. What's my real name?
Lainey now Griffin was Keo. Lady Bobster if you're searching elsewhere. Anyway, and we've decided to do this kind of podcast because we found when we're together, we have some pretty good conversations that we think you might like to hear. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to try and do these once a week. The sound quality may suck on this one because we're literally all sat around a single microphone. And we're all rarely in the same country at the same time. So we're going to be flowing from this onto week to week. We're going to do it through Skype, we think, once we figured it out. Yeah?
Wait, is that like a 360 mic or like
This should be picking everyone up. Yeah, it's mono-directional.
monitor?
Yeah.
Is that what they
Is
call it?
mono
So
not
we-
being one?
Yeah, I thought it was polydirectional.
It's a circle button on the microphone, and that's supposed to be good for what we're doing. So, anybody that knows any better for us, but we'll be doing this off single microphones and making it a little bit clearer from week to week. But we're just going to blast it off. So, we've just come back from Body Power 2017, and our final one. We are part of the Gymshark crew. If you don't know who that is, search Google Gymshark. You'll soon find us. Good Body Power.
Alright.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was the last body power.
It was the last one for us.
It was
It was your
David's
bloody
first
first. Was
and
it your
last.
first and
It was my
last.
first and last and only body power, yeah.
You got it easy, bro.
Oh, I got
You
it
got it
real
so
Davey,
easy.
I'd say you were going to do like at least 10 more body powers.
I was horrified going into like FIBO and body power because like all the stories you said of like 4 days in a row, 10 hours straight. Like I was just like, wow, like there's not enough pre-workout like in the country for me to like be able to survive that, but
Just made it.
Without further ado,
No, but I feel before we go on that, I feel like we should put David Lade in the garage for about 8 hours and just like make him answer questions repeatedly to at least come to the level that we're used to for the expo experience.
Just last like, hey,
the
come
same
to
question
this garage.
over and over
Dave
again.
Lade's in there. He'll just talk to you for 8 hours.
And we'll just randomly give you a doll to just hug repeatedly for at least 8 hours.
Yeah.
we will feed you like
no. We feed
Haribo.
you a huge
one
breakfast,
poorly. Yeah,
and then deprive you of a toilet.
yeah, you get one pee break in 7 hours, and your whole day's fueled off fried eggs and cereal. Then welcome to the real expo experience. This year, if you don't know, guys, this year we had time schedules of being on the stand and we were on for 3 hours. Matt, Chris, and myself were the OGs of the Gymshark. What would you call it? Expo era.
I think that
Followed closely by Lainey, who came in the second year, was it?
Yeah.
Second year? And we were running 7-8 hour days, no pee breaks.
You gotta tell them about the first body power.
We just busted it out. The very first body
Yeah.
power. Okay, so yeah, for those who don't know, Matt and Chris were originally the I don't know, the driving force behind what you see in fitness today, isn't it? The macros and awareness of food. And you were the big YouTubers at the time who were really kind of taking hold of all that, and you were brought over by Gymshark to the UK. Now, I'm a UK guy. Everybody else here is American other than Lainey, who's Irish, so she's kind of UK, but don't hit me. You know what I mean?
No, I'm Irish.
Some tension in
It's
the
not
room,
the same
ladies and
thing.
gentlemen.
And
And divorce.
Oh shit!
I was like, yeah.
Got myself some Irish loving.
I put up with this, man. Well, at the time, so we were in the UK, Matt and Chris were kind of a phenom because no American YouTubers have ever really graced the British shores. So they were brought over by Gymshark and caused a hell of a stir. And they had a line, I remember this actually, you had a line longer than Jay Cutler, who at the time I think was the reigning Mr. Olympia. Was he? Was it? He was
He was Mr. Olympia
possibly.
back then.
No, that was like.
Was it Kai or Jay? It was Kai maybe, was up
Maybe
there for
like
the most
probably
popular
last year,
bodybuilder.
Yeah, Kai
Not,
Greer was
obviously
really
not reigning
popular.
Olympia, who's never won it because of we know why. Grapefruit. Hashtag move on. And
Oh shit! That's one way to get your macros.
and,
So what would the proteins be?
I just wonder, like, people who have no idea about fitness, like, what that even means to them.
yeah, search Kai Green grapefruit and then move on with your life.
Oh shit! We're going to that level.
We take no
Let's get this
responsibility for what you see.
Would you rather eat a cake and sit on a dick, or sit on a cake and eat a dick?
Okay, so officially we've done what, like 6 minutes, and we're already descending. 6 minutes.
This is now like a rated R
Not one answer yet.
podcast.
I'm waiting for an answer.
What was the cake option?
This doesn't apply to women because that's obviously like that's like. Would you rather
Would you rather?
sit on a dick and eat cake,
No, you cutting or bulking?
or sit? That's a fair question. Fair question.
Wow.
Getting back to the freaking expos and away from penises. I don't know. I like the expos. What we should have some subject matter here. I'm
When I
guessing.
was 13, I was just sitting back. I was watching all of this happen. Like, I have a completely different perception on all of this. All I know is like there was a bunch of guys in their underwear in the hotel rooms. That's all I'm gonna say. But that's pretty much.
Oh, you're talking about the expo footage.
Oh yeah.
Okay, from there. Well, that was the era of Jeff Seed, wasn't it? Really.
Wasn't that
Underpants
the
in
first body
hallways,
power
prank. Yeah.
Knocking on people's doors.
Knocking on people's doors. No, but actually, the story behind that was we legit got locked out of our rooms. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And it was accidental. Like there was joke posing in underwear. Then the doors shut and nobody had key cards, obviously because everyone's in underwear. And we actually generally had to go down to the lobby in our underwear to get new keys.
In our underwear.
Yeah, to fill the rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that came about. Yeah. So the reality of it is we were just stupid and locked ourselves out of our room.
Then Lavado does handstand push-ups on the desk
Yeah,
while we're waiting for the.
yeah.
those are mandatory. Like,
But that was the era. That was the era of the you mad bro.
yeah.
All that kind of thing going
If you
on.
think about it, like it seems
Now
like
dead.
yesterday, but that was like 4 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago.
David was
years.
Was it
13.
4 years ago? 5 expos, 4
I
years.
was
Yeah.
literally this tall, 50 kilos.
Me too.
Lainey's like that's what I am right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're describing me.
But you have way less lean body mass than her.
Oh, significantly less. Fat-free mass index is 0.
Pretty massive.
So we were so we this was easy expo this year, but we met. What we do is we go and we meet fans, and obviously we have a lot of chat and going on. So we thought we'd cover some subject matter that a lot of you guys tend to always ask us at expos. Plus, we'll see where the tangents lead us, which already we've gone down some dark roads. So we take no responsibility for what we will get up to week, but I'm sure it'll entertain you during your cardio sessions or car drives home or wherever it is you're going. So one of the subjects what we covered this week that we thought would have been good. We had one at dinner. What was the one we just literally spoke about at dinner? Why do we have the goldfish memory going on?
Oh, wait, I think it was
Like just
all this.
some of the craziest stuff that people have said.
Oh, what people were
something
their
crazy.
diets,
Oh,
what they were
Oh
eating.
yeah, the bro things we used to do.
Oh yeah, like the first
Yeah.
starting out, like how like naive we were and like the ridiculously stupid shit we do that. Now looking back at it, was just so ridiculous. But at the time, like this is the right thing to do. This is what we need to do. I'm doing this. Nothing is stopping me.
The common sense leaves the room kind of thing, isn't it, when it comes to the gym? So yeah, we had one. Matt's was tuna.
Mine was definitely eating clean, but as much of it as possible every 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you eat
yeah.
as much as possible, but
Yeah.
if you did it every 2-3 hours, you would burn
What was
fat.
your
You would burn-
theory behind
you would
it?
burn fat
What was the
regardless.
theory?
It's
more calories for more muscle, but then frequently because then you'll get shredded. So it was
It's a
like
metabolic-
Yeah.
it was like a way to really just max
Because like
out.
then it makes
life.
your metabolism work faster if you eat more
But
frequently.
this was the theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You
like
basically- you're
I can
fueling
eat
the
like
fire.
10 meals a day, but like
really was.
I'm burning it off because I'm eating so much.
Yeah, it's like the psychology of the more you suffer, the further away you are from what normal people would do. So therefore, results must be more extreme.
Yeah.
That's very well said. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one though. Eat more.
Yeah.
More frequently
But
gets
like
you shredded.
the food of choice was definitely a bowl of oatmeal with no flavoring, with almonds and 2 cans of tuna per meal, at least twice a day.
Hey, you told me too when you were
Twice.
The other meals were like usually just
That is horrific.
regular potato microwaved
and then, no, you told me
With-
that you would wrap them in foil and like take them to school and then just like
with
eat
hamburger
potatoes.
patty for the protein in those, and then like microwave broccoli. And when you do that, microwave broccoli, yeah, it makes your farts and your piss smell disgusting.
Aren't you happy, Brittany, that you weren't around for this era?
It was such a bad era. My roommates, when I was living with some roommates, they were like complaining about it, and like you have no idea. So you're just like, why are you guys complaining? Like, you guys are bitches. I was like, dude, just fucking.
You just assumed that every time you left the room, you came back in, someone
just
was
embrace
baking
it.
eggs.
Yeah,
That's about it.
yeah. I mean, that's not even digging into the worst of it for you. But
No, I mean we just. I remember my attempt to get shredded included double servings of turkey breast, which everybody knows is the worst
Yeah.
tasting meat. Like
It has no taste. That's
it
the
takes
point
no
of it.
flavorings. The herbs just refuse to be absorbed by it. It repels everything that you put on it. When ketchup fails to make something taste good, that it's a poor choice. But I remember it had 2 servings of turkey breast, and this was the trick. This was the big one. It was called battery acid at the time. So you would boil the turkey breasts in water. You would then obviously take the turkey breasts out, but then you would drink the water. Yeah,
Mother.
you drink the water the turkey was boiled in because that contained all the quotation nutrients.
I've heard that before.
Yeah,
I've heard bros doing
old
that.
school.
That's
bro.
like eating the placenta type shit.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Like,
I've
you would
heard
be
about
like-
drinking the water before,
Bro,
like
that-
you boil
that doesn't sound
boil
bad to me.
potatoes as well to drink the water. From
that's just
it.
like it's just like chicken stock. It's like chicken broth.
No, it isn't. No, it is not.
Not when it's
It
like
is the
raw.
most rancid, bitty, cloudy,
Is it?
awful crap. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is by no means pleasant.
what were the nutrients you were trying to get though? That's
The magic nutrients that make you shredded.
He's like, crazy. Because like back then you were thinking just nutrients.
Those suffer
like,
for
the
gain
word nutrients is
nutrients.
going through your mind.
Yeah,
but, like,
yeah.
No specific ones.
No, there was it was the best nutrients were in the water always.
It's whatever you wanted to get. At. Like
Yeah.
like you could just get like wings and like David.
I was told-
it was like longer than 3.
I was told that I wasn't allowed to drink sparkling water, like carbonated water, because the carbon in the water was making my legs fat.
No,
Bruh.
Yeah, so that
That
was
is-
like that was one of my pleasures in life, was having carbonated water, and they took that from me. So I had to just start drinking regular water, and I was
Oh
like,
my God.
and then when I like got off my diet, I was like, first thing I'm having is sparkling water.
Oh,
Yeah.
the joys.
Wow.
Suffer. Because you know what it was that used to resonate with me was when they did an interview with Jay Cutler, and he was at his prime. You know the year he came back when he like changed his hairstyle and got a little bit of a V taper going on, and he looks sick. It's that iconic picture of him doing
Yeah,
that
the
quad
quad
pose
style.
with his legs,
Yeah, yeah,
his
yeah.
arms slightly
Black.
like hanging
Black
at
and
the
white,
sides.
yeah.
Yeah, and that he does this thing where he says, such low body fat by the time he's on stage. He has no padding left in his feet. So he's like, when he's walking, obviously he's like 260 pounds, 65 pounds when he's shredded on stage. Yeah. And it would be painful for him to walk on stage. And his quote was, "I know I'm at my best when I feel like death." And at the time, I was like, warrior. Like now, I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever.
That was like the mentality around my gym.
But yeah,
it was like if you're feeling good, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
As the epitome of health and fitness, or even fitness, like. There's nothing positive about that.
But that's how much the expos have changed as well. Do you remember the first few years of expos were all giant hooded men? Hang on, I'm going to move the dogs out the room because they're noisy as hell.
13 and 14, everyone was in a stringer.
Really?
It seemed like hell of people were wearing stringers. And this year, I barely saw anyone wearing stringers.
Yeah.
To be honest, like
you're just not fashionable.
I think LOA did have a lot to do with that.
Possibly.
Because what other movement was really like pushing stringers? Mm-hmm. It's kind of rare to get stringers.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
Yeah, like Gymshark was like really big on strings at the beginning, and that faded off pretty quick.
And then they realized like, only like certain kinds of guys wear stringers.
Only
very small market.
Yeah.
Only a very muscular, confident portion of the niche of the entire fitness.
No, you say that, but you didn't go to the expos 4 years ago and see the men wearing stringers back then.
All different shapes and sizes. You'd be jacked as hell.
Yeah.
I almost said the F word, but like
I think you can. Fuck bugger shit. Yeah, we can do what we want. This is the freedom. The freedom of the podcast is we can literally just
we talk about Kai Green's like fucking grapefruit. I'm pretty sure you can say that.
Yeah, we already discussed Craig Green doing a grapefruit. I think we're past kind of the points of effing.
There's like one person who was fine with Lavado talking about sitting on dicks and cakes, but then the F word.
The F word was
oh my god!
The F word was too far.
Broke the camel's back.
No, we were saying about how the expos have changed with over the years because we had the Jay Cutler era, you know, the do and die, the Ronnie Coleman era. You know, squat to your back breaks. I mean, look at Ronnie now.
Were the expos like
that was crazy. I mean, he blew his
so much less like packed back then because I feel like it would just be super chill, super calm, few people walking around, no noise at all. Just kind of.
Well, the technology was less as well for the stands.
How do you think those expos were? Like in the mid 1990s.
Who got the idea?
I don't think they existed then.
Yeah, did they even exist?
Olympia? How long's that been?
It would have just been like
Arnold Expo's been going around for. They just had their 25th, 26th.
But all it would have been was supplements, though. Wouldn't have been clothes, really, would it?
It was probably just a more quiet trade show. Like,
yeah. It would have been like people who owned
gyms.
It wasn't like regular people.
It was. I bet you there was no like speakers, no music blasting, like none of that. It was just basically like a big convention. People had their companies. People just walked around.
You get free samples.
Probably sign for probably pay for signatures on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Of the athlete, they probably would have paid.
Yeah.
Would have paid
people
probably
sitting at tables like
for like Lou Ferrigno's signature.
Didn't have like cell phones.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah! You remember? Imagine that.
Imagine
not knowing what your picture's gonna come out like.
Hey, imagine the fact that David wasn't even born.
Oh.
Yeah, the Arnold's been out for like 25.
David's like mid-90s. No idea what that means.
You're just a twinkle in your father's eye.
Holy crap. Maybe not even that. Shit.
Maybe not. God damn.
Fuck.
Damn. Crazy. Future generation. Well, talking about future generations, that's how it's changed, because you look at the technology that's come on board. We've got social media now, and that's basically alongside, obviously, the pull-in from likes of Gymshark. That's totally changed the dynamic of those shows, because now we have this social media that shares the event around the world that most people would never have seen before. And that brings us on to another bit actually I want to talk about, is the change in the athletes through to what you see now at these body power expos. Yeah. So we've gone from bodybuilders to, I mean, everything like
social media,
like not even fitness people at expos, like
just more relatable people.
Yeah. Some people who like at FIBO, apparently there's a guy who like
there was
partially lifts, but he's not actually a lifter. He's a comedian.
It was like a German comedian. He's got like 1 million followers on YouTube and Instagram, right? And he like lifting is one of the things he does, and he's obviously not like a hardcore bodybuilder, like severely like in the fitness industry, right? But people relate to him. They think he's super cool. He showed up to the FIBO Expo, literally just destroyed it, like lines wrapped around like everywhere. Like he completely killed it. And like look how many like people want to see. Compare that to like how many people want to go to an expo to see like hardcore bodybuilders back in the day.
It's not about the body. It's just not anymore. Like
it's become like a fandom. Everything social media has become like a fandom. Like I say, when we started doing the expos, it was about the fitness and it was about the look.
Yeah.
Like there was more interest.
Actually,
in
2013.
Yeah,
like how many flexing pictures did we
Think
take
about
that
it.
year?
It was 100% about the aesthetics. Remember the aesthetics era, and I think we've kind of got past that. And we were having a chat about this, and personally, I don't like it in the fitness industry.
You don't like what? The aesthetics thing?
No, the aesthetics thing was
The lack
okay,
of it.
but I don't like the fact that now that we're getting these like it's fashionable for fitness is fashionable, which is great in certain aspects because it brings more people in. But then there's also these like people who are now almost fake fitness. They're not real.
No,
fitness.
they're not even fitness.
They're not even really trained. They're no real advice, no real training. And we think this is a big topic we covered over the weekend was lack of real advice that's now out there, and more just kind of the visual. Like just I don't know. This manic kind of need to want to be part of a group or something. I don't know.
It's a
I don't know.
lifestyle. That's
Yeah. And I think we need to kind of pull it back a little bit. If we're talking about fitness side of things.
I think it's messed up because, like, for example, you have a person that is quote unquote, inspirational to these people because they're like a figure, right? Yeah. And they're here at this fitness expo because they made fitness posts or they might have like showed their ass on Instagram or something like that. And now all of a sudden, these people follow them and they're so inspired by these people. And then just because they're somewhat involved in the fitness realm, all of a sudden, like, they look to these people for actual fitness advice, for example. And then these people, since they're like, they let it get to their head that all these followers and stuff get to their head, and then they think they're in a position of power where, and they think they're in a position where they have the ability to like give quality information. It's the ego, like give quality information that they really aren't qualified to give. You know what I mean? So then it just becomes like a whole shitload of just fuckery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that way?
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. Yeah, I agree with that. I love how the silence has passed over the room with that because everyone's kind of like,
everyone's like thinking of somebody in their head.
Yeah.
Everyone has that picture in their head
Picture
going,
of someone goes to their head and you're like, I can't
Yeah.
say shit, but we all know, yeah.
Dave's like, I'm way too marketable for this. I'm way too pretty to talk.
Imagine if like all our like minds combined and then the hologram of like one person appeared.
Oh my god.
That'd be like
But like,
awesome.
Like the yoga.
Like we're like, on 1, 2, 3, say the name. 1, 2.
On 3.
Yeah.
No, but
One, Dave Lit. Just playing. No, but like this ties back to like I've been talking to all of you guys about this. It's the fact that regardless of whether or not you may be qualified to give fitness advice or not, like whatever, not everybody has to be. But I think it's important to whatever it is that you do, if you have a following, it's a responsibility to provide some type of value to those people, period.
100% you're a role model.
And a value can be as simple as like providing them with humor, like making them laugh on a day where they're having a bad day. You know what I mean? Something that of value consistently versus just like...
And there are a lot of people that do that, and that's great. I mean, I think a lot of you were talking about it ends up under the heading of life coaching, doesn't it really? Like helping people deal with issues in their life, and that's a really great way of doing it. But we know from personal experience that a lot of people now are coming into the industry under a caricature of who they are, which is not really them. We started in this game when everyone was just we were all kind of green to it, weren't we? So we were all just us. Yeah. There was no character to us. We were who we were. We were raw and we were honest.
I feel like then you like established pretty much like planted the seeds and established this type of like atmosphere, like this era of like what the fitness industry is like now kind of. And at the time you didn't have any plan for that. It just kind of naturally happened. And like I feel nowadays people like trying to go in the fitness industry and like enter it. They're literally doing it just for the sole purpose of gaining followers, gaining weight. It's literally all about that. Yeah. That's the number one goal of mine. They will literally like fuck anyone over, do whatever it takes to get anywhere. They don't actually care like about their followers or anything like that. And they'll get to where they want to get. But the thing is, those people, right, that like have that mindset and that's how their brain works, they're able to put on the front on social media of the fucking coolest, most like realest, most amazing people, right? And just everyone just believes that on social media because that's all you really see. And for example, like when I was like 13, 14 years old, I would just believe it. Everything that I saw. Like this, like literally this person, X person said they're natural, 100% believe it because they fucking said the words and just, how could this person do anything bad, this and that, and like...
It is. It's crazy because like you said, when we like came into the whole scene, it was very We didn't know anything other than being ourselves, and that hasn't changed.
No.
But the thing is, like, now since people have really seen like the let's be real.
They go to the monetary
opportunity.
aspect, yeah. It's the
The
money
money
they can
opportunity.
make, yeah.
Like now all of a sudden it becomes it's no longer like, okay, this is the path that I love taking, this is the path that takes me that I really enjoy taking in life, these are the things I really love and enjoy doing, and by the way, by doing this and putting my life out there, I'm gonna monetize it and make a living. It has become, okay, this is my path, but oh shit, look at this other path, there's hello money signs here, let me fucking take that. You know what I mean? And then I'll fucking hopefully just
Yeah, they see it as a career choice, not like kind of an organic happening in their life.
Yeah, this is true. That's it. Organic was the way we kind of came about it, because I mean, Matt, you even started before I was watching you when I started mine. So you were OG with Chris. You were complete, like you were the two, I think, that really brought it to the forefront of like that new generation of lifting, 100%. Because there were other people who pioneered the macros behind the scenes, weren't there? But you two brought it forward because 3DMJ were running prior, weren't they?
Yeah, so...
But they were obviously on a smaller scale, just website based at the time. But you brought it to the front, to the masses, yeah.
Yeah. There's people talking about macros, diet dog.
For those that don't know, just a quick brief down on macros. There's a diet terminology that we use here. So the most fitness people obviously used to live with the chicken and broccoli mentality, and the macros form is where you monitor food and you have the ability to choose your foods regardless of their source, as long as they fit a target base. So
that really only started becoming popular starting 2011 and onward, which is crazy.
Not even then. Yeah.
Yeah, because like before that, people just had the mindset of like there's clean foods and there's like not clean foods. Like if
there's still this.
Exactly. If you eat like a cheeseburger from McDonald's and fries, like, you're a horrific person. You're not achieving anything in fitness. Your physique will melt in front of your eyes.
Like it was literally that, like, it'd undo everything that you did in the gym.
Technology. Yeah.
Like,
I remember
McDonald's burger, you should just go grind a fire.
Before I met Lex, there was a girl being coached by the same coach as me, and like 2 weeks before her competition, she said, "No, I'm going to change to flexible dieting," and I didn't. I was like, "What's flexible? What does she mean by flexible diet? What she?" And he's like, "Oh, she's just going to go and eat loads of chocolate and get fat and get on stage."
That's the words of a coach.
And like that was him telling me, but I didn't know. I was like genuinely asking him, like, what is she doing? And like then she was explaining it to me, and then I met Lex after that, and I was kind of like intrigued because obviously I was a scientist, and he was explaining, no, it's just like it's your fats and your proteins and your carbs, and I was like, that makes way more sense.
Yeah, that's where like 3DMJ, like the people that engineer just literally eating ice cream, getting shredded. No one knew what the fuck they couldn't comprehend. It made no sense.
Yeah, I remember the first time, Matt, that you crossed over and you did a video. You were going shopping and you were buying Skinny Cow ice cream and all these things, and you were putting them on the conveyor belt, and you were saying, "I don't worry, guys, this isn't for me." Like. And then, but it was, you were doing a new shop and you literally switched over to flexible dieting. Then you got home and you had all this ice cream and all of a sudden you changed. But I remember thinking, what the hell is he doing with all this? I thought it was like a troll video or something.
Remember some shit about me? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's back there. And I remember that Skinny Cow ice cream though. That doesn't exist anymore, I don't think.
It does, yeah.
I think
Is
it
it?
does.
Yeah, in Tesco.
It's still there?
In the States, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of had it here for a bit and it
No,
disappeared.
you can get the mint ones.
But then I thought all I could eat was Skinny Cow ice cream because I thought Matt did it, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, there's so
clean.
many trends.
Yeah.
And
Oh, the Pop-Tart Trend, remember that?
everything.
Oh
Pop-Tart
shit,
Trend
do you remember the
for a year.
Pop-Tart Trend? When we had the
Pop-Tarts
Pop-Tart
and
carrier cases we used to have in the car?
Bruh.
This guy had a Pop-Tart carrier case in his pocket.
Dude, you know what else I had? I had a custom Pop-Tart box made for me with my picture on it, on the cardboard.
Oh my god.
And like I customized, I was like, it's like, fuck, what did it said something like, I customized the wording on the box too. It was like crazy, something
What
like,
is the point of that?
I don't know.
It
You
was
did it
just
for yourself,
trendy
it
at
wasn't like
times.
a
I remember
gift.
it was
No,
so
it was,
cool.
it was pumpkin pie Pop-Tarts, and it had like my picture on the box, and like I like customized the name of it on there, and it's like you can get it sent to you from, is Kellogg's? Like,
Yeah, Kellogg's, yeah.
That's crazy.
But
So funny.
It was just so rebellious.
The funny
back
thing
in
is,
the
it's
day.
like it's so rebellious, but like
So
it's the
rebellious.
worst shit for your macros. Like,
Yeah.
It's not horrible, but yeah, like it was just so rebellious. Everyone's like, "Oh, you can't eat these foods."
but it was kind of like this statement of like, look at this fucking Pop-Tart.
But
and
you know
I'm
what's cool
eating
though?
this.
Like that's what the world needed and the industry needed at a point in time.
Yeah.
To kind of just be like, "Whoa!"
Disrupted
Obviously,
the
nowadays people hate it because it's been overplayed, but
Right,
just like any trend, there needs to be something that starts it, and then eventually it gets boring. And then you go to a next trend. And the current trend is what? The current trend is just like
Veganism.
somewhat. But like, I feel like the current trend's pretty good. It's just like, do whatever the hell is as healthy as for you specifically as possible.
Yeah, I don't think anything's been shoved down people's throats anymore.
How
Yeah, nothing really is.
I feel like nowadays, like at least in like YouTube fitness or like what I call like the fitness industry, I guess. I feel like pretty much everyone's on board with macros, or at least like
more normalized.
80% of it. I feel like if
Yeah.
you're not doing macros,
Which is
people
good.
like, the fuck are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
It's good because back in 2011 it was like 10% of people back then knew macros, and it was like a fucking uphill battle. Like literally explaining to everyone what a fucking calorie was.
Yeah.
Like that shit was crazy.
also like before that, like so 10 years before that, people were just like, what the fuck are calories? Just
You know what's weird? Like back then, I feel like people knew more about calories and energy balance than like 2010.
really.
And then there's always just been trends.
Yeah, it's because people
Well,
want
the
to make
supplement-
life harder on themselves.
Well, and the supplement industry fucking thrived off of this
yeah.
information.
Yeah, that's true.
But what were we talking about before we even started talking
People
about
still
this?
don't even know calories.
That's true.
DMs.
Dude, this
I literally get people like,
you
"What
said
are
like you said
macros?"
like high percentage or whatever. That's just within our demographic, because in the grand scheme, look at the United States, people who go to the gym and shit like that. Guarantee you, the majority is not
Oh
tracking
my
macros,
God.
nor do they even really know how fats, carbs, and proteins relate to calories and stuff like that.
Last year when we were in LA, I had a discussion with Dexter Jackson about macros.
Good lord.
Dude, in Gold's gym,
Jesus.
the dude must. I refused to let him leave before he'd listened to me about
Holy
macros.
shit.
Yeah, because I just outright questioned him. I'm
For
like,
those of you guys who don't know, Dexter Jackson is a former Mr. Olympia, like
He's like
huge
I think he won the
steroid
award.
bodybuilder.
he's like, oh,
I mean,
This is true.
yeah.
Well,
But he coaches a crazy amount of women now. And obviously, and does it in a very bro way where they're like starvation diet, max cardio. And so I was like, I asked him, I talked about flexible dieting with him, obviously, and he never even heard of macros. When I said, or even when I said it, he was like, "Oh, you mean that diet where you can eat ice cream?" And that was what he knew, because a lot of these old school guys don't even want to research these things because they just believe it's a trend, or like they don't understand the basis of the science behind it.
Yeah, just go with what's been working.
Yeah, and this trend mentality, that people kind of live, that we were talking about before, this fandom, this trend, that people follow things blindly rather than really looking into what it is they're actually watching or listening to, or is there any? Doesn't seem to be depth to people anymore.
I've also seen a trend, like, I mean, on my side of social media, like, I'm kind of in, like, the, like, fitness, but, like, also I focus a lot on health and, like, female health and, like, women health. And, like, I find that there's now a trend, like, where people are like, oh, counting macros is so unhealthy for your mental health. So, like, it's
Which is
kind
the
of, like,
exact
the
opposite of what it is.
opposite.
I mean,
And-
macros gives you ultimate control.
Yeah.
And
So it's
belief
kind of
in
like a
things.
mix of both.
This is very true. Like, especially like, there's a difference between men and women. A huge difference, like in the way we think of food and everything. Like we're men, we're very black and white. Women are very grey. Like we look at point A and point B. Women go, okay, there's point A and point B. But have you seen route D, E, F, and 9 through to 22? All these other outcomes that could possibly be
I might be
there.
part woman then, bro.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're a little bit that way. Too many thought processes.
Yeah.
No, but even with the women though, I mean, there is an emotional link to food much more than men. I think.
yeah.
I mean, that's generic. I mean, I'm generalizing when I say that, but obviously, I do believe you guys, the women especially, have an emotional link more than men. Like, look at David. Look at David. David has a negative emotional affiliation with food. David today was swallowing down potato with water, like just food points.
David just sits there depressed every day that food is just something that has
something
to
he has to
exist.
do. Yeah,
Like it just has to be a part of his
Simple
life.
nuisance.
It's a nuisance.
It's like mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
Like when you're 12.
No muscle mass. Just got-
It's a huge lawn. Like, it's fucking huge. And you have to do it every
And I'm getting
Saturday.
paid like $10,000 to mow the lawn. It's like, fuck, I don't want to do it.
You're contemplating whether it's worth it because you hate it.
That's a lot of money, but like,
I could just be like,
you should have chosen a different number.
Yeah, like close to
that's-
zero.
like a $10 lawn loan, maybe.
Yeah.
Like 5.
Five.
Like 5.
Or like your parents like, all right, wash both of our cars and I'll give you $5.
Do you remember the days when they would say that and you'd be like, done. I am out there, you've got 3 sponges. Cars are street to shit, they look worse when you started.
And all you're thinking is, suckers.
Like you wash the dirty ass rims first and then you wash the car with the
put the sponge on the floor and you're picking up little stones and the sponge next. Just wiping the car down.
I never even thought of that.
Never put the sponge on the floor, bro.
My brother once fixed my dad's windshield that had like a tiny little crack in it with a hammer.
Oh my god.
Wow.
This is how we fix this. Smash it
about,
back into
took me
place.
like 10 lawns and about 20 cars worth of like work to do to be able to afford my Z shorts that I bought.
There is a video of David on his phone that we have to somehow make public, which is him awkwardly posing in his front garden. I'd like in these Z shorts, which are the shortest of short shorts. Like if you imagine short shorts and then shrink them.
They look like Sophie's.
What's that?
Anyone knows what they are?
No.
Like if David's balls had dropped at that point,
They would have been ball on show.
I'm surprised we didn't get flashed.
The best bit of that video though is you're posing in the front yard whilst your friend is videoing you, which you've asked him to do, and then they're giving you shit whilst videoing about it, and then you then give them shit about the lighting.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with
Dude, it looks crap because the lighting's bad,
I was
man.
like 5'7", 120 pounds, soaking wet. Like, fucking lighting, I swear I look like Dexter Jackson inside.
The worst thing you could do in that age was read a Flex magazine and look in the mirror.
Oh.
Do you remember that? Ultimate
I remember at
depression.
that time.
You don't
I did.
remember that? You never read magazines.
No, I never did, but all I know was like.
Oh, we should make it relevant. You remember those times when you used to swipe through a PDF
Yeah.
before looking in a mirror?
Or watching a YouTube video.
Like I didn't know what like flatness, fullness, or any of that was. Right? So literally one day, like I could like eat a lot of food one day, not really recognize it, not really realize. You go to the gym, get a fucking insane like wow, I feel so big, I'm so confident, I feel amazing, right? Won't sleep that much, go to bed, wake up, look in the mirror, like wow, I lost all of my gains. I was like, flat when you wake up, and I just that was my mental health problem growing up as a child.
It's so funny because guys look in the mirror first thing and they're like, oh man, I'm so flat. Woman looks in the mirror first thing and they're like, wow, my tummy's so flat. It's like exact opposite.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a bit
No,
like
no,
that. I
but-
prefer them. Yeah, in the morning you wake up and you've got a tight midsection.
I like.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, but I'll say this.
Yeah, that's weird.
This is because I'll tell you why though.
That's because he has a natural crazy V taper though, and I tell you
No,
that's
I mean,
why
it's
that
not
probably
about-
doesn't
I
change
meant,
through the day.
Glycogen fullness like within the muscle, because I had like my first like year of lifting, the only muscle I developed was like little baby muscle. So if there was no glycogen or water in there,
They're literally gone.
flat,
yeah.
zero muscle
Okay.
mature.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, but what you guys are saying, like what Matt said and Lex said, is because you guys have more than a decade of lifting under your belt, and like even when you're flat in the morning, you still have a lot of muscle that's there to show for. So basically, you have a tight stomach. If you didn't have as much muscle, the
Like
flatness would just make you feel completely skinny.
Yeah, that's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. That and, like I eat 5 pounds of fucking vegetables a day. So
Oof, you must be a pleasure to live with.
So at the end of the day, you're just like pregnant, but then in the morning you wake up like flatter.
exactly.
Like me.
Start the day like I had a baby. Wait. Start the day like I had a baby like a few months ago, but then I end the day like 8 months pregnant. Fucking weird.
But what is the bubble gut thing going on in the industry as well?
Is it?
It's getting crazy. Like there's just everywhere. Everyone's turning into these
On stage
just-
type.
the whole lot. I mean, look at even Phil Heath the other year, who was known for a midsection. Look at even Dexter has this kind of ballooned gut when it's not pulled in. I don't know whether it's like.
Probably just over time they're getting older and then like.
I think it's the one-dimensional training.
It's because they're not doing their Pilates.
And so it is, yeah, but it partially is that. It's
Yeah.
a one-dimensional training. Like, if you watch guys when they bicep curl, they will blow their gut out as they curl. Now, imagine if you're doing that with everything that you do over time, how that you're going to kind of create that muscle motor pathway to blow the gut out. And that's how you're going to sit relaxed. Whereas if you're a boxer, kickboxer, gymnast, where that core strength is really important for constant movement and functionality, they don't have the bubble guts.
Yeah.
So I mean it's a bad look at the industry
It's
now as
terrible,
well, because all these guys now who've been doing it for 10 years, they're all beginning to get this same kind of rounded gut.
I'm sure it obviously has to do with the different substances they're taking.
No,
I
it
thought it was
can't. I don't
called
believe
steroid
that
gut.
because look, think about the years ago. They were still using drugs back in Arnold's days, and those guys were taking.
But they were different.
Back
They
in
were different.
Arnold's day, it was pretty much just like
Yeah,
debunk
well-
tests and stuff. Nowadays, it's like, I think it's like the insulin and the human growth hormone that are like.
Well, no, they've debunked the growth hormone theory, haven't they? About
Have
it
they?
being that, yeah. They've said it's not that. They say anything is more like the insulin, something to do with insulin use.
Dude,
But
the-
back
the
then, I
epitome-
swear these guys were using it.
the epitome of IFBB, perfect physique as far as like IFBB
We're gonna
bodybuilding
say
to me.
Sean Ray.
Sean Ray,
1999,
all
bro.
day. Sean Ray.
Sean Ray, 1999 Olympia.
Yeah.
Look at that shit up on YouTube.
Yeah.
The Mariah Carey posing routine, bruh.
Dude,
It's
I'm with
insane.
I'm with you on that. All
And it's
day.
like 360p quality, and it's
Yeah.
still
like
insane.
if you're gonna do drugs, that's how you
Oh
should
my
look.
god,
Like, yeah.
Fuck.
Which is another thing that pisses me off. Like, is when people assume everybody under the sun who has abs is now on drugs. Like, it's ridiculous.
Now,
Like
I feel
these-
like there's the people that like, for example, from my school, like high schools in general, like if someone like gets in shape, whatever, oh they're on steroids, like this, and that, and other people say it. I feel like there's different levels of like naivety or whatever when it comes to it, because there's people like that have no idea what they don't know it's a hormone, they don't know they know nothing, right? All they know is like how their brain is like wired to think. Is like they see a vein, they see something, steroids, right? Then there's like
The veins one is a hilarious
exactly.
one. Yeah, you have weird veins drugs.
yeah, and then there's like levels up of people that actually like know like what steroids are and all this stuff and have like a decent education on like I don't know like what a physique's supposed to look like. They train and stuff and like they assume like people that have better physiques than them of course are just
It's
on
insane.
steroids and
And
stuff.
you know what it is? It's like there's more of these gym monkeys, I guess we call them, who jump on anything under the sun. From Dr. Dave in the corner of the room with the big purple head, like we were saying this before. The guy in the corner of the room wearing the towel throw over from the 1970s with the weight belt but never deadlifts, and he's supplying all these younger guys with nonsense. And I think because of the social media thing and all of this, you see more of these idiots now who are on drugs, who don't train properly and look like shit. So that then emphasizes how well they're on stuff and they look shit. So anyone who looks halfway decent must be on something because they look better than this guy who is on something and looks like shit. And that I think that's perpetuated the myth really. But what scares me is the younger generations coming through who are going to read all this on social media and take it like as being real.
Yeah.
All these guys, you know, like us, you know, we're walking around. I mean, I don't know what people think. I mean, David, obviously, you're tall. What are you like, 6'2", and then obviously between me, Matt, and Yucky, we're like probably. I mean, what are we? 5'8", 5'9",
7 feet combined.
we're like 5'9" on a Yucky and I on a good day, and Matt's like 5'7". So you know, we have the shorter frame. So for us to pack on like 7 pounds looks like 20.
Yeah, it's
And I think a lot of people underestimate that, like, if you, even an inch in height, you require like an extra 3-4 pounds to get that same look. So for like someone like David with the long limbs, long levels, you know, he's gonna have to put on a lot more. Yeah,
slap on that.
yeah.
But I feel like another thing is like
Big difference.
just your bone structure and your insertions, right? You could have two people that are like the identical height, the identical weight, the identical muscle mass and body fat percentage, right? But one person, due to how their bone structure is and how their muscles insert and like how their muscle bellies are, just all 100%, this is genetics of course, they'll look like 10 times bigger. And on the right end will look so much bigger, better than other people that have the same amount of muscle mass, if not even more. And like those people, and that person with like the good build and stuff, look at like he's on steroids, the other person's not. When to the trained eye, you'll be able to understand like.
But then
that's not
everybody
the
does
case.
have a trained eye on social media, don't they? Because everyone's a
everyone's
keyboard
a
expert.
self-proclaimed
Yeah,
trained eye,
I
yeah.
love those sentences with this. So I know for a fact. I love the start of that sentence. I know for a fact. You know, it's just ugh.
No, and they continue to tell you not only that you're on, but exactly the doses of which drug.
Oh yeah. And then when you debunk any theories, then they just say, well, then it's growth.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing to point out, is the angles you described there. Like I try and say it a lot to try and make people understand. I say there's me and then there's Instalex.
Yeah.
Like when I take a photo, I'm at my best. Like, you know what I mean? I don't look that moment that I capture. That's not me all day. That's me with a pump under good light. Look, you know.
Yeah, and then when people realize that, they'll start complaining that, oh, look, why do you use this? Like, not right. Like, why do you? But at the same time, like, if you're gonna take pictures of yourself or present yourself on a social media platform, you're gonna try to look as good as you possibly can.
Yeah.
That's just like what you're
course
gonna
you
do.
Yeah, I'm sick of all these people calling out people for just looking good on their Instagram. You're like,
Like
that's what we do.
like when you come up to the mirror, right, with your phone, like you're gonna take a picture. Like I look a little better. Like,
I'm getting bored of the whole call out thing. Going, let's be real. This is what we really look.
Unpost.
Yeah, and you're like going, okay, fair enough, be realistic, but at the same time, I still want to show the best version of myself on my social media
And that
platform.
is still you.
Yeah, it's me at my best. It's not a fake me. It's me at my best.
100%.
Imagine people calling out like products, like why does Apple make a good phone?
Why can't they just show the real Apple?
Yeah.
Just you know?
Make a shitty phone.
Why aren't you showing the phone with scratches on
I
it?
think
Yeah,
right?
it's just because like physique is such an emotionally based thing. Like we constantly compare ourselves,
And it's so difficult to achieve. It is difficult. There's no shit. It is difficult to achieve a good physique. I'm not going to sugarcoat that shit. It's not fucking easy.
It's
we grind our
difficult
fucking
to achieve a
days
good
out.
selfie, so I should be rewarded for that shit. Not like
300
getting
selfies later.
Yeah, I'm like that shit took me a half an hour to
Oh
take.
yeah, I'll spend like times.
Half an hour, David.
45 minutes.
Jesus.
It's just an insane amount of work.
Yeah.
Releasing David's workout routine. Go in, ridiculous max on one movement, and then 30 minutes of selfies.
low volume.
And still makes gains.
Wow, can I buy your training plan?
The crazy thing is he'd make millions
Yeah.
just off of one rep.
You just telling 14-year-olds to just go in, like
One rep
specifically
training.
says, do not warm up.
You know what's crazy? Like I've known
Max.
people in the gym that like would want to be able to walk in the gym and cold max out on bench at least 315, and they would train specifically just to do that.
Do you not remember the old school method?
Like, they would
of
like that.
Reverse pyramids, where you would go in and literally do your heaviest set first, because the theory being you were fresher, your nervous system was fresher, and you would be able to lift better. And everyone's went this like blowing shoulders.
Few reps, like
Yeah,
No
yeah,
warm-up.
like,
Yeah, warm-up.
do you
No
mean like
warm-up.
no warm up? Okay.
Just stretch and then in.
Yeah,
Yeah, and people were blowing shoulders like left, right, center. It was
Yeah, that's
crazy.
not good.
But nobody questioned it. Everyone was just like, "Sounds good, yeah. Let's get under the bar." And we're
Yeah.
2 plates straight on, bam, boof.
I'm kind of
And
thinking
then
I'm gonna
people
try this
wondering
tomorrow.
why you're getting hurt. And it's just like we leave common
I'm gonna
sense
try it
behind.
tomorrow. I've never done a max anything ever, so
Nice.
I do that shit 9 times a week.
9 days a week.
Max.
mine's all volume, all day, every day.
I love volume though.
Yeah,
I think that's a good thing to get across actually is to train how you enjoy.
yeah.
I was saying this to
So
people at the
important.
expo. So many people were asking like, what's the best way of gaining muscle? Stimulation. And it doesn't matter how. I mean, have you ever seen a shitty looking sprinter? I mean, that dude isn't doing max power lifts. But they could step on a bodybuilding stage.
Like, there's a difference between, unlocking 95% of your potential and 100% of your potential. If you're going to be okay with 95% of your potential, which most people will, like, when it comes down to it,
Dude,
you can or 90%, whatever.
Yeah.
Say like 80.
And the difference from like
Just say like 80.
Matt's
It's
right.
like 95.
95 is pretty high. Yeah.
is
okay, like
fucking-
okay, let's
yeah,
say
that's
let's
fucking
say
high.
90% to 100.
I think 80 is good.
It's
The thing is,
Yeah.
it's so much easier to, like, you could live such a happier life getting to 90 rather than 100 because the rate of diminished return going from 90 to 100 is like ridiculous.
No, but
It's just not
what I'm
worth
saying
it.
is, like, to get to that, say, 80%, right? To get to that 80%, you can do that in so many ways. Like, it might take you another year, but you're going to get there for sure. Like, you know what I mean?
As long as your ego doesn't get in the way and you're lifting
Right, yeah,
sensibly,
you're not getting
your
hurt,
techniques
you
are
just keep
solid.
going.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether
In
you're
one
doing
way or
4
another.
reps or 12 or 20.
And I think people don't realize that sometimes. They're just so concerned. Like, what's the absolute
Well,
best?
and then they want a singular answer. This
Right.
is the problem,
Right.
and there isn't one.
Right.
They want that one. They want the one sentence solution, and it doesn't exist.
You know what's crazy? Like, the thing I hate hearing most, but it's like the most true is like, do what works for you. Like, I hate hearing that, but many times it's like fucking true.
Yeah, but it's like the
Sadly
difference
true.
between your sumo versus your regular
But it comes
deadlift.
down-
You know what I mean?
comes down
Which
what
one do
you
you
enjoy.
prefer? The sumo or the regular, and then that is in one way a niche way of doing it, but it's doing what's
I
best
guess
for you.
it shouldn't even be like do what works best for you. It should just be like do what you like
Yeah,
doing best.
so doing what's best for you
Fundamentals in mind.
has like
Yeah,
two,
yeah,
it
yeah.
has two completely different interpretations when you say
Yeah.
that. That's what you're saying. So
Yeah,
the
I think-
interpretation that you disagree
Oh, yeah,
with
yeah,
is,
That's what it comes
is,
down to.
is saying like, okay, there's scientific methods that work differently for one human versus another human.
Okay.
Whereas that's not really the case. But
I like
what
where
is
it's
the
going.
case
This is the problem here, right? Here, isn't it?
preference.
That we have to explain this. We assume because we know that when we're saying these things, we take into account that there is a scientific background and that obviously we're going to follow the sense and sensibility of training. People don't do that anymore, and this is the problem. What you just said and what you had to explain, we shouldn't have to be doing that because people should have that sense, and we've lost that sense. Like I don't do what's best for you as meaning go in, shove a banana up your ass, sprint on a treadmill for 30 minutes,
But that's
and do some
often
dumbbell
what
curls,
people
'cause
mean.
that's what I enjoy. No,
Weird.
I assume it was staying within the realms of what's technically sound.
Yeah.
Do what's
But
best
that's
for
intelligent people, no offense.
you. Yeah.
And a lot of people are not intelligent.
The most.
Well, but they're intelligent. Yeah, no,
Like-
they're intelligent, but the common sense is gone.
Yeah.
We've lost
Yeah,
that
you can
common
be
sense.
really intelligent like in one aspect and just be a complete like vegetable in
Yeah.
another. It's just,
And I think that's social fuckery. That's social media fucking things up for people
Yeah.
because people get so kind of warped.
and think about it like this. Like for example, we like all have a good idea of how to train now, but look at us when we start. Like how we
Yeah.
talked about earlier, the stupid shit that we did. It's just, and all of it has to
Yeah.
do with like just not easy access to the right information, like social influence and like so many like other.
Like you
factors.
would never look back at your bro days and like admit to yourself that I'm stupid as fuck. You know, like never.
Not
Like,
if you go
when
back
you
to
were-
that
Doing what
time.
works
Yeah,
for me,
right,
bro.
right,
Yeah.
The,
We
the
told me about
irony
6 rice
was that
cakes a day
when
works.
the irony was that when I tried to educate myself on the stuff that I felt I didn't know, I was told I was stupid for asking the questions. So it made me feel even more stupid. So it's like you kind of go, but how much protein should I be using? Who do you think you are? And you're like, oh, okay, I don't need to know how much protein I need.
That's the coach mentality.
Yeah.
of keeping
So it's
you
like
down.
keeping you down, like keeping you a little bit in the dark.
Yeah, but this is the bad thing. This is what coaches do, and they still do in America. This is a big thing. So they keep their clients in the dark to keep them on the hook.
Yeah.
Because if you suddenly tell your clients why you're giving them what you're giving them, then they have the power to do that. They're just
Yeah,
things
it's been going on
themselves.
for a long
No,
Yeah.
but that's not why they do it. They just do that because they really
Sometimes
they
they
don't
don't
have an
Oh,
explanation.
they don't
Yeah,
know.
sometimes
Also,
they don't
yeah.
Yeah, but they're
But-
using it to say,
But this, even
oh,
so,
some
like
crazy, like
even
magical
if they're doing
thing.
calories, but I've seen these meal plans that like these quote unquote pros give to girls and guys who are coming up, and they're literally like cup of, and this,
Yeah.
and no actual volumes of calories, nothing. And a cup, I'm sorry, is not an accurate measurement. You know, it's not. Well, not when you're trying to get crazy shredded, but then these are the people that rely on the
The worst
drugs
thing is
to
like
get them
tablespoon,
there.
like tablespoon of peanut butter. Or
But
like,
yeah,
like if you actually use like if you use an actual like measuring tablespoon and like cut it
oh
flat,
yeah,
that's
flat it.
fine.
Yeah.
But when you use like an actual spoon,
Yeah,
bro,
you're like it fits.
yeah.
It's like dripping over
It's
the
like, oh
edge.
shit, this spoon holds the whole fucking peanut butter.
No, but then these are the guys as well, the guys who are pushing the drugs on the clients.
Yeah.
So the drugs are the buffer for the error in the diet, you know? So you got the guys holding muscle who would normally drop it because they got the testosterone in there. And then you've got the girls who are on like low doses of God knows what and getting fucked up.
Clem.
Like you
Yeah.
won't believe.
No,
And then
there's
they-
like
and
bikini
then
girls now
there's
who are on
bikini-
steroids.
Bikini girls
And
on
I've had
on
ones come to me
anabolics, man.
and they're like,
Bruh.
they list like their diet and then they list the drugs they're on, and
It's
I'm like, I
fucking
don't even know if I should be
bikini.
working with them because I'm like, I can't encourage that. I don't want to endorse that.
Health, yeah.
Yeah.
And the horrendousness.
But they're
of
like,
it.
I was on a gain, so I'm on Anavar, and I'm like, what?
What?
You're a female. What are you doing?
Irreversibly changing their body. That's
Yeah.
just insane. For what? A $5 trophy?
They
Or
don't see
for the
past
social
the
media.
competition.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for the social media though,
Which
see another instigator.
makes
to-
it slightly.
Yeah.
I just feel like some, like, especially like girls who are in their 20s, they're not looking at the big picture of like being in your 30s and wanting to start a family.
not
Like
at
right
all.
now, you're 20, you don't care about having kids, you don't care, you're not with a long-term boyfriend, you're not thinking
You just care about
marriage.
that ass.
All you care about is like your followers on
Social media.
Instagram and
Yeah.
winning that trophy and like getting sponsorship and getting free protein, and that's all you care about.
And like shrugging at the judge and like getting him to like smash you later tonight.
I know.
Throwing it out. Oh.
But I know they just
David's like, I'm gonna become a judge. He's like,
For like men's physique.
damn.
Oh god, man.
But yeah, it's like you have to look at the bigger picture, and I think people are blind to like the
I think people do get a little bit obsessive with it. the hell are you doing?
Oh, nothing. Because I was making sure it was on. Because if it was like blinking red, you know what it means.
Oh, it's mute. No, I got the waves on through here. But you just did a really cool monkey face while you were with it.
Actually, hey,
I hope that's your concentration face most of the day.
Let's switch gears here for a second, though. We were having a conversation in the car, and I don't think Matt and Brittany were there, obviously, when we were talking about this, but this is kind of crazy, right? We were talking, like, different lifestyles, like, different, famous, like, fame and money.
Oh,
right?
shit,
Remember that?
yeah, the Bieber conversation.
So
Justin Bieber, come closer to the table. I'm going to guess that most of this so far, you're quite distant on the microphone.
Yeah. So basically, this is what we're talking about, guys. We're talking about this, and so there's fame and there's money. Usually, one goes hand in hand with the other, right? But it's almost like at first, when someone first gets asked, what would you be down with, like, fame and money and all that shit? Like, you'd be like, yeah, give me the most of that. Give me, like, as much as I can possibly have. You know what I mean? Like, famous, fucking rich. You got the whole world at your hands. But you start to think, right? Like, somebody as famous, you start to think to the extreme. Like, who's the richest, famous, most, like, person? We were thinking about people like Justin Bieber, right? Like, rich, like, he's not the richest, but, like, combination of rich and famous.
Kanye.
Kim K, shit like that. And you start to think, like, is that really, like, the optimal kind of, like, would you really prefer that over, say, like, just being rich? Or, well, let's just give the actual example of what you're saying, right?
The side of it was growing on social media to a point, wasn't it, where you were kind of having that similar, like, a smaller level of that crazy kind of level of fame.
Right.
That's where we came into it.
But basically what we were saying is, like, can you imagine being Justin Bieber, right? Imagine being Justin Bieber, like, you can do anything. Like, you can do anything, you can do anyone, like, immediately, like, on command, right? You can have a brand new helicopter at your door this morning if that's what you wanted, whatever. But let's say you're Justin Bieber in 5 years and you decide to have a kid, right? And you want to go take that kid to Disneyland on a regular family vacation. You can never do that in your life, ever.
How mad is that to think about?
Yeah, you can. You can rent Disneyland out for a day, but that no longer makes it a regular family thing, vacation or anything like that. You know what I mean? And you can't go to the grocery store without being fucked with. You can't go anywhere without having, like, security. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
I was watching the Kardashians and they were in, like, a grocery store, and then I was thinking about it afterwards. I was like, they would have had to shut down that entire store just to film that scene of them in a grocery store to make it look like they go grocery shopping, because they don't go grocery shopping.
When you have unlimited resources and like money, cars, house, whatever you want, after, like, think about it, like, after 5 years of that shit, like, private chef, all that, right? Like, that shit's got to get old, and you're so segregated in the
it's not even the fact that it gets old. It's like, if you think of Bieber, what was he when he started? He was 12, 13?
12, he was discovered.
Okay, so he never had a normal childhood. He never experienced what we did, going and dicking around with your friends in rivers, riding bikes, doing things, just being out and about. Everywhere he went, surrounded by bodyguards. Anything he wanted brought to him. Like, so he won't even know. He'll have never known a normal life. Yeah. And that is sad in itself, because how is he going to show his kids a normal life?
Right.
In that, but also there's the flip side of it of everyone used to give him shit, didn't they, for being a quote unquote dick, obnoxious.
Like, what would you do as a teenager?
12 to 13 years old, millions of pounds, anything he wants in the world. Like, I think he's pretty fucking grounded.
Yeah.
Like, to go through that and to come where he is now, he could have been like Michael Jackson, Luke,
like,
you know
balls
what I mean? Like,
deep in all kinds of
Be black.
What does he
by
do?
now.
He says the odd wrong word.
Surgery.
I mean, he had to go to a reporter and said the odd wrong word, like, and that was his worst that he's done. I mean, the guy's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
When you think of it that way.
But then, like, and then you compare it to the person, like, for example, what David was saying, like,
then we compare it to, like,
social media people, like Lex, for example, right? Lex goes to this fitness expo. In the fitness world, there's a lot of people that know who he is, or someone who stands in line for, like, 5 hours to talk to him and say, hey, you've inspired me to change my life, blah, blah, blah. And that's cool and all. But then when we leave this fitness environment, Lex can easily go to the store, buy some stuff, go to the gym, and then just have a regular life, have a mixture of those both things, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, that there's an intangible, like, value in that even the richest person in the world will never be able to attain, you know? So it's kind of like a reality check. Like, you kind of want to have, like, and that's not. And
I think
does that mean that people should be limiting their fame then, or limiting themselves?
No,
I just feel like it's kind of just talking about, like, I mean, I guess in a sense, like, you want what you can't have, right? So here, literally, the idea of, like, being a billionaire, having anything you want sounds fucking me. That sounds super cool, but like you said, over time, you're going to get bored, and you're going to, for example, all the small things, we can just go outside, go for a walk, all these little things, right? For example, that, like, we are just normal people could take for granted, right? Those, like, luxuries that other people, like, for example, extremely famous people, like, they don't have that. Yeah. And I'm sure there are times after, like, let's say you're like fucking like Justin Bieber for like 5 years later, like, think about how much you missed when you were like 10 years old. You could just go like do whatever the fuck you want, just be like a normal person.
Yeah, you go into a forest, build a den, do it.
Yeah, exactly.
No risk, nothing. You know,
it makes you not, like, not even just tying into those specific things, but like it makes you kind of think twice about like what really creates a
I think it was talking
life.
about focus of career, wasn't it? Like some people would aspire to have all that,
right,
without thinking about.
But I feel
like
there's some people, right, that can get to that, and because like they're just like so shallow, like they could be completely fine with that and happy, just like, satisfied as shit.
I agree.
They have all the material things. They're happy.
Yeah.
But I think there are people as well that get the fame, the fortune, and maintain a regular life.
Yeah,
to a certain degree, because we used Hugh Jackman as...
Hugh Jackman, you constantly see him just chilling through London walking his
dogs. That's not the level of famous that
Dude, I know, in the right situation it is.
No, but like he's like rich, he's famous,
fucking Wolverine.
and they can maintain... there are certain celebrities, and like, you see them, and like, they're known for being normal. Like, because they don't do the celebrity thing, they don't have their entourage.
I'll tell you who is cool, Johnny Depp. He always had it right. He used to come in, do a film, and then piss off back to France. He lived in France.
You know,
he was pretty cool.
He carries Jack Sparrow costume with him everywhere he goes, in every city he goes to, and he goes and surprises kids in like in the kids' hospital in the full Jack Sparrow costume.
You can watch it online. He just goes into the wards with the
He'll
kids.
spend a whole day in the kids' wards.
Just greeting the kids
as
full on Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Like,
crazy.
That's so sick.
Like, that's
cool
just awesome. That makes him like so cool.
Yeah. I think that was a bit of a random. It sounds like a random segue, but not for the conversations we've had over the weekend.
Yeah.
But I think the point of it was we were talking about the fake kind of style of the industry and people using the industry to try and create that kind of fame because of the likes of Kim Kardashian and everything like that. And people have that mentality now in the fitness world, which is something we hadn't seen up until the last few years. And I'm gonna the camera gone again. I think we're out of batteries on that camera now.
No, just keep recording audio.
So I'm sorry, we might have run out of visual for the rest of this.
Just do audio.
Just gonna press Justin Bieber voices on.
Yeah.
I'm getting sleepy.
You're getting sleepy. We'll probably start wrapping up. So I'm gonna finish. What I want to finish on this one is I think, and I'm probably gonna cause a bit of hate with this one, but I think it's worse in the female side of the social media industry than it is in the male. I genuinely believe that because.
I agree.
Do you? Yeah.
You see it because we're in it, so we see it, and I think me and Brittany are quite normal for the female side of the fitness industry. We kind of keep it real.
No, but it's not even. It's just
and we don't
like,
jump through the hoops. And
women are by nature quite bitchy. I mean, come on. You ever seen that thing of the Family Guy where there's like two women sat eating and they're going, "Oh my god, you look so good in those jeans. If I had thick legs like that, I just couldn't pull it off like you." And they're like slamming these little things, and it cuts over to two guys eating, and one of the guys goes, "Nice tie," and the other goes, "Thanks," and he goes, "Men, we know how to be friends." And it just sums up that kind of thing. Like the guys, I don't think we have the energy to kind of be that kind of.
Maybe we're just more masculine.
Snide, I think it was.
Kind of like useless piece of shit.
Yeah, but so you see, and we've all witnessed this. We've witnessed this where it's like, unless there's a Snapchat or a camera on, these girls don't interact. Like there's nothing to them. But you put a camera or a Snapchat on, and all of a sudden this reality in quotation comes to life.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
and that's
you've
all
seen
that.
this.
But that's all their following sees as well.
And this, is it.
Because it's never exposed.
Because nobody's filming.
The first time.
The worst part is that this gets exponentiated to their
and
followers.
It's sad when you see it straight away.
This idea gets exponential because all of a sudden their followers are quote unquote inspired by this behavior that doesn't achieve anything.
Yeah.
And then they're all of a sudden, I want to do that too and fucking make money by doing absolutely fucking nothing.
Yeah, and then we get
everybody's just fucking brain dead on their phone, and then they live on their phone, and then
they're living for likes. Living
for likes. It's a euphoria that you get from likes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are saying, I think we were saying before, we think it's an addiction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100% is an addiction.
This
Like that
addictive.
picture you seen, like with the syringes in the arm, like one syringe has like Facebook written on it,
Oh.
like Instagram,
Yeah.
Snapchat, all that shit,
And we see, and I see it now, like when you're scrolling through like social medias, and like guys, we have a limited amount of things that we can do because we're not quote unquote pretty, are we? So we have like our random poses that we do like in a
That's
gym or
so-
whatever.
so true.
But the girls have developed like this crazy alien leg that now pokes out forward like some kind of unicorn doing a dance, and it's slowly this leg's getting further and further away from the body. The ass is sticking out further and further. You're getting these like T-Rex. Eventually it will be a T-Rex posture.
Yeah.
They're
Dude,
literally getting surgery
it's-
in their backs to allow them.
we are gonna end up with these fucked up,
I
hip
think-
tilted, messed up T-Rex looking females.
Permanent anterior pelvic tilt, fucking Bible
But you know what
verse
I mean?
as captions just
You
to
gotta-
fucking excuse their ass in a fucking picture.
With like wording underneath that's missing letters, like it's not even English underneath the title anymore. It's
Text language and Instagram. I'm just like, oh my
like
god, learn how to
5-year-olds
write.
correcting it at home now. Like,
I'm like, no. I get really upset with myself if I spell something wrong on my Instagram and then someone picks it up and I'm like, oh man, autocorrect.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, I feel so stupid. I have to edit this.
and then we're like, and basically these girls are dumbing down the female side of
Yeah.
fitness is what they're doing, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then the girls who work hard, who have
Hashtag
the lean
progress pic.
yeah, but the girls who work hard and the girls who lift properly are now getting kind of shamed for being quote unquote too manly.
Yeah.
Because in comparison to these girls who don't lift, stick out their ass and have T-Rex postures going on, it's now becoming popular in this fan style. It's
Just think about
Or
like
some
how
girls-
Think how it's
easy it is to
tips
make
and-
money.
yeah,
Girls, like you don't even
dude,
have to
so
lift.
fucking easy
Some
in
girls have
comparison.
been
You just
lifting
have
for, like,
to
a
fucking
month.
know how to
Yeah,
stick
and they
that
have like
ass
nothing.
out.
they genetically
You have
have
to
a
know how to
big
do
butt,
nothing.
and they just like post pictures.
Yeah,
and
I
they
feel
get
like if you're a
millions
girl,
of
right, and you have like a good frame, good
Bones up.
genetics, and
You
like
have a
the right
pelvis?
measure glutes,
Seriously.
if you have a pelvis, right?
If you have a pelvis,
Just a pelvis.
like if you're a female.
Yeah. If you have a pelvis and you can afford a $6 underwear from under Victoria's Secret,
And you've got a wide angle lens,
Dude.
Yeah,
Entrepreneurship summed up right
that's
there.
it. Wide angle lens,
Yeah.
cheap underwear, and T-Rex
yeah.
legs.
I'm gonna
I feel like nowadays,
opposite of
kind of
Bruce
you
Jenner.
can be a girl, right? Like
I'm like,
Like,
realistically,
college-
We're trying
for
to
me,
talk
I'm just
over
gonna-
because it'll fuck up and we won't be able to hear anyone. So go on, you finish what you're saying.
that's so fun. I feel like how we just said, like that's entrepreneurship. Like some, I feel like legitimately, like it's just so easy. Okay, you realize, okay, like I'm a girl, like I got good genetics, I got a good frame. I'm gonna do some stiff leg deadlifts, some squats for 3 months, like invest in some underwear, get a good fucking lens, like fucking stretch my lower back, like get it flexible so I can pop out this pose. Just get millions of followers.
I feel like these girls are coming from nowhere. They're like growing on trees somewhere. There's some like hot girl field somewhere that they're all just popping out these big butts.
It's true.
I'm like,
yeah.
I've been doing
Butts
this for
get
5 years and I've only started, like, when I grow my butt, my quads get big. I'm just like, so my
How are these girls doing?
I don't understand how they train glutes and don't grow their legs. It's like,
Because they're doing such like isolated movements on just glute specific, aren't they?
I think
Yeah,
it's
it's-
genetics.
it's-
I think it's
as well.
genetics, yeah.
It's not just genetics because you do have the girls who show that kind of transformation from like
nine days a week glute training.
Yeah,
Sometimes
that's
you'll
pretty
see
much it.
people in person that like have a huge butt on Instagram,
And all of a
and then
sudden-
it's just like it just looks big because they just have really
The
skinny
way-
legs.
and the way they pose.
yeah,
Yeah, and the
they just
pose.
have skinny legs.
I do think we have to give the new generation props on their ability to make money because it took a lot of us fucking
Forever. Five fucking. When was the first time you
I'm
made
still
like money?
not
make
making money.
When was the first time you made money on YouTube? How many
Like-
years in?
I'm not sure, but like I've been in this game since 2010. And I feel like I didn't actually make any real money until like 2016.
Bro,
Yeah,
it's
I-
6 years
I would-
deep.
I
But
would
if
agree.
you were a girl, you'd be fucking swimming in money right now.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Well, yeah.
Those glutes-
Well, I think it's the 2017 where we're at
you would
now.
have white teeth. White.
It's so easy. Like you can see
You
how
would
other
be
people are
white.
making money, and you just make that kind of money. You look at the products they're doing, and
You'd have white teeth. You'd be drinking tea,
a really good time right
rubbing
now.
yourself in coffee bean
But to be
extract.
fair, like in the back then, like the
Drinking tea,
resources that are
fit tea.
available today
Yeah.
weren't available back
exactly.
then. So it's like it's kind of like you just
really
hop
good
on.
time to fucking want to make money right now.
Yeah.
If you have a
You
pelvis.
can get them
guys
fake.
are
You can get them.
Which brings us all the way back round to knowing what you're looking at on social media.
Yeah, but it brings you as well to like you can make money, but do you make that choice? Do you sell out?
No.
So like sell your butt on
this is
Instagram.
it.
I have a crazy question.
Yeah.
What if you sold the fuck out, but all the money or a large portion of it went to orphans in Africa.
Whoa. Bombshell
Serious question. All right, go ahead and ask your question.
We're just ignoring that one now because nobody has the right answer.
Okay, let's answer it.
I think it's fucked.
David, go first.
I think if you're doing it for that, I think it's completely cool.
Nah.
I don't think any of them are
If
doing
all
it
of your
for that.
money's going to
It
that,
doesn't matter though. You have to
It
think of
Depends on the type of sellout.
I mean, depends on how
hard.
okay,
So many
it's a
factors.
lot less
So
taxable.
now you just fucked up someone's metabolism for good forever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
That's
mean?
an issue. Like if you're doing it at the expense of.
It's a good point though, because even talking about that, you got to think of the ripple effect, and these girls are not thinking of ripple effect of the fakery that they're showing. And the same with some of the guys who are obviously like banging God knows what left, right, and center, and then claiming like that they've done transformations on their own, just food or whatever, and they're selling diets off the back of it. It does obviously transcend both ways, but definitely the female side of things, it's that they I don't think they have a conscience to what they're actually creating.
Not
like
right now.
Like not now. And long term, these girls are gonna what? What do they get? What we were trying to work out. What are they providing?
Nothing.
What are they providing?
Softcore porn.
Yeah, but people say like
They're providing
so
ejaculation
inspired.
for like 14-year-old men across.
What are they
But
inspired
I don't think it's
Their
even.
body.
I don't think a lot of it is even softcore porn. I think that was like a couple of years ago. I think now it's just like
You can't
I don't
call it
even know what
softcore
they're
porn,
doing.
can you? Because it's females following females. So
It's like if they have a body that someone like aspires to be, they're like, oh, you're so inspiring.
yeah, but
You know
why?
what I mean?
But what?
Just because
Yeah,
some-
exactly. Because you show a
It
picture.
roots back to people.
Are
just-
people
you're
that
fit.
easily inspired now to do
No,
what?
it's like completely visual because women are
So visual
visual
is-
as well. Women
But
are
then
very,
Look at
very
a picture.
visual.
Like
Yeah.
I even see on Twitter, they're like,
Okay.
I'm posting my inspirations to my background wallpaper, and it's like 4 girls, and it's like just their body, and it's like,
Yeah.
what did they
Not
do?
even
It's,
their body.
they're-
How
it's
did they
literally
get
just
there?
existing.
Yeah.
But dude, no, like that. This is the analogy I give, and I was telling this earlier. It's like getting bit by a zombie. Like you automatically like it's. I don't know. Like I feel like this whole freaking industry is like, as soon as, for example, like someone's like famous on for no reason, like they provide no value, right? But then like somebody like, or like they like their body, right? Somebody likes somebody's body, and then for some reason they're famous for no reason other than like just their body or whatever. Then all of a sudden, like all these people want to be that same exact thing, and then they just become these brain dead robots that like,
Yeah.
it's just an exponentiated like fuckery. You know what I mean? And that's how it just, it's fucked.
I think it's frustrating for us because we've come through from the beginning, and then we work. A lot of us work very hard to get the followings that we
I think
have.
also because we are men too. Like
Yeah, and it is definitely
that
that.
uphill battle of the gods.
And that's why we're looking at it like what we look at them and we can't work out what they're providing as this fuel for inspiration.
Because we had to actually provide something.
We had
in order
we had to have something that was tangible.
Right.
But I think
And
that
then-
there is the option, like as a female, if you get like, for me, it wasn't about going in to become a famous fitness Instagram person. I just kind of fell into it. It was like
Same.
I was taking
Yeah.
photos with Lex. I did it. I went on my fitness journey. I got fit. I got into shape. I shared it with people. People wanted to see it. People wanted me to have a YouTube, so that's why I started doing it. But then there's the people who literally see it as, this girl does it, I'm going to copy her and do everything the same as her and have nothing original about myself. And that's where it's kind of like, do I now want to grow and just become like that? Or do I continue on
sake
the
of
road
growing.
that, for the sake of the likes and the money and the blah, blah, blah? Or do I just continue on the journey I've always been on?
So I definitely think you can do both. I don't think I think you can grow, stay true to who you are, and provide information. It's slower, and people aren't willing to put that time in. Just like with everything, people aren't willing to put in the time. If they can find a shortcut, they'll take it, and they don't consider the ripple effects on their own life, other people's lives, and what they're doing. And we have, like we said before, it brings us back to what we started with, the responsibility of what we have on social media.
You know, I think like also in the same way, we're not as critical though on like businesses, because when it comes down to it, like an Instagram account is essentially like an extension of a business. Like, what other industry are we this critical about though? You ever thought about, like,
I don't know. We kick the fuck out of conglomerates quite a lot.
Another industry.
yeah.
We do kick the shit out of conglomerates for the way they treat their employees and the kind of that battery hen mentality that a lot of them find. So I don't know. I think if you get enough into a subject, we criticize
Well,
quite
like the
equally.
fitness. I mean, not
It's just
fitness,
obviously it's more personal.
I think at the-
modeling and acting industry.
Wait,
That's
Yeah,
probably
like,
even worse.
really, really
I would say
bad.
that's even worse.
I think
I think you can look at any industry and find the same
Yeah,
thing.
I think
It's not.
everything
I
has-
think we're in the fitness industry, so we see it, but it happens in every industry.
Yeah.
the whole world is just fucked.
But I think the reason why it's never going to get unfucked is because it's going to require there's a responsibility for the person, the main person providing this page or this content, and the responsibility of the person who's following them to both do their research and to both do the right thing, which is never going to cohesively happen ever.
Like I was just about to ask. So, for example, like
Remember what you were going to say, Matt. Don't
Alright, I'll
forget.
try my best.
so like everyone, like for example, a lot of people now are realizing, like especially girls, because like it's just like I guess in a way easier in their nature and easier in general because they're girls to, for example, grow a massive like social media following with like softcore porn, for example, and have it as a massive living and like make a ridiculous amount of money that way at the expense of their followers, right? And as I feel like it's becoming more and more and more popular, do you see it eventually just growing exponentially to this the case, or can you see it eventually at a certain point just completely crumbling down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there has to be because, like we were saying, there's no basis for this inspiration behind a lot of things other than a visual thing. And when that begins to crumble, which inevitably will in their own lives, because they're actually what they're portraying, they're not actually doing. They're not living that life, and we know that because we're in the industry and we know they're not living the life they're portraying. So inevitably something's going to fall down somewhere. But then saying that, actually, on the other flip side of that is they usually can then make a comeback, can't they? And then reroute themselves that way as or falling down and get back up again. So maybe it won't. I hope it will, personally.
Or if like
Phone down. I hope it does a full circle. Not full circle. Does a 180 and comes back to where it was. Because people's lives will literally. I mean, they still are being changed, but I mean.
I don't think it'll ever come back because now there's too much money involved, there's too many companies involved, there's too much at stake business-wise. It's not really a choice of being, an upstanding person. It's like down to like, this is what I do for my job now. And like before, people, literally it wasn't about money and it wasn't about you doing it for your job. I think a lot of people, the original OG people, were doing YouTube literally to help people, and it wasn't about money and it wasn't about this is going to be my job. No one ever probably dreamed that they could do YouTube full time. It just like,
full time.
You couldn't.
So-
You couldn't.
People were just making videos.
yeah, you just made videos. Whereas now people go and start their YouTube channel thinking this is going to be my career.
Yeah.
Like
That's the
they have.
difference,
It's a
isn't it?
completely different mentality.
What were you going to say before, do you remember?
Oh my god, it was about like religion and freaking
Oh.
how there's like so many different religions. Like it's obvious that humanity's not going to agree upon one way of living life ever.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be something for us to fucking have fun and argue about.
All the wars
Yeah.
in the world were fought over.
Unlimited
Yeah,
There is no
every
topics.
industry is always going to have this kind of shit.
There is no one sentence solution.
But then also, okay, the other thought I had was like, we're pretty exceptional in terms of like the fitness industry in the sense that we're really transparent
Yeah.
with who we are as a person and like the business side of us. Whereas a lot of people, is this wrong for them to be a different person than the business?
I think it's wrong if you're portraying that that's who you
Yeah.
are, like deliberately, if you're deliberately pulling the wool over people's eyes, like pretending you're grateful for something when really behind the scenes you're like, fuck, I can't be bothered doing this, I hate doing this now, I'm doing it because I have to do it.
Yeah.
Like, if I ever got to the point of disliking doing expos, then we stop doing them, that would be it. I wouldn't do it because there's no way I could. I don't know. Personally, I couldn't stand up there and fake it for 3 or 4 hours. So I don't know how they do it. It must take a lot of energy. So and we get that a lot. I mean, we get the common thing we hear at the expos is you're exactly the same as you are in your videos. Yeah. And every time we hear that, I still think to myself, who isn't? And obviously a lot of people, if it's something to note, huh? So that's scary a little bit. And I guess because we have our little group and we do our thing, we don't really associate with that other side of it too much. And when we do, we pull away from it because we see it.
I find it draining to be surrounded by people like that anyway. I prefer to just know where I stand with people and know what they're about.
Gotta be real.
I don't like to have to figure someone out. Like, are they being them or are they...
Yeah.
I like to just sit and talk to someone and know that this is them, I'm talking to them, and that's just them.
Yeah, what's called, I think...
and every time I talk to them, they're going to be the same person.
Yeah.
What Chris said, I think he summed it up pretty well. I was like talking earlier today. like anyone, right, in a one-on-one interaction can be completely cool and come across the most genuine, most amazing person, right? And they could do that to all these people. And it was funny because we said, like, the real test is, like, completely out and, like, in public, like, in front of, like, everyone pretty much. Like, who do you act like then? Because there's so many times where someone can be so cool, so chill with someone, and then in front of other people, in front of certain other people, just completely, like, for example, disregard them like they don't even exist as a person, or treat them completely differently, or, like, belittle them, for example, or just not be the same as
because they don't have as many followers, or they can't provide them with
or remember
So,
this,
like,
the follower mentality. Like,
so, like,
what can you
this
provide
is what I'm
me?
saying is, like, you should always treat, like, and this sounds like so simple and common sense, but it just doesn't exist anymore in the social media realm. Like, you should absolutely, and this is common sense, treat people around you, anyone in your life, as if followers aren't even a thing.
Don't exist.
Yeah.
Like, why should somebody with 1,000 followers be treated with less respect or less enthusiasm than somebody who has 500,000?
Yeah, and, like,
Yeah.
and,
Like,
and
why?
people who are completely consumed by that, like, I could just, like, see it, like, their brain is just literally wired that way, like, so different than how it was, like, back in the year before social media. They literally, all they think about is literally, okay, like, this is my social media at, is like, this is, like, my amount of likes or whatever, this person's at this, and that, based solely off that is exactly how I'm going to choose to have all my interactions, how I'm going to see people, I'm going to perceive people, I'm going to talk to people, literally just based off that thing.
I wonder if
that's
they, like,
so just unhealthy and just not, like, that's just so, that's not
Do
good
they
at
just
all.
see people as numbers? It's
Possibly.
like they're like looking at them like, you know, like RoboCop when he has the stats come up,
No,
and like they just see people. They're
targeting.
like, oh,
Or
100,000
it's
followers,
to benefit
50 likes.
them.
blah, blah,
What
blah.
can I get
Yeah.
out
I
of
think
this
it's also
person?
It's
to
all about-
benefit them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this
Well,
person
yeah,
has
like,
more followers than
That
me, I'm gonna
really
be
bothers
friends
me.
with them.
Right.
Because like obviously I'm with Lex and like he has like quadrupled the followers, and I see the interaction with me and with him, and like people will be like, hey Lex, and then like the people who treat me the exact same, like as if because we're just human beings,
Yeah.
we're not numbers.
Yeah.
They're the people that I'm like, okay, they're a real person. But
Right.
the people who are like, you know, a bit like dismissive of me or don't even acknowledge me, I'm just like, hello.
Yeah.
that is
It's just
quite
like
a
it's
common
like a respect for a human being. It's not about numbers.
Exactly.
It's having respect for
And
people.
I do think that some people though, like, as much as they are deep down a good person, they literally are robotically now doing everything just
into
like followers, like they don't control it anymore. Like,
Yeah.
because it's so
like
common.
what can this person provide me with? If they can't, okay, move on.
it's-
Not even gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna treat them like a human. Like, if they try to talk to me, I'm just gonna.
And I'm not
dismiss
talking
it.
about like you have to collaborate with anyone or like do any
No,
kind of
it's
business
not about
relationship.
work. It's
not
about how you
work.
interact.
It's about like just respect for a person, like a conversation that has
Yeah,
nothing
exactly.
to do with
You
business.
don't have
like,
to go out of your way and become like super friendly and this that. It's just as simple as like.
How's
if, like,
your day?
If in a simple conversation, or like if they come up to you, any little small talk, you have anything, just the basic respect of two human beings like talking to each other.
Very,
That's
very
just-
true. Everybody's literally in the end of the day, the final day, Sunday at Body Power, there was, sorry, fridge making noise. Shh.
Make that
Oh,
ice.
damn, that's the no. There was at the end of the day, there was obviously we finished at 5:00. Expo's shutting down. We get taken off the stand. We get taken upstairs, and then we're obviously chauffeured out of the arena. And there was a little bit of time kicking behind, and I went back downstairs to do like photos with people who were waiting because they'd obviously had the line cut, and it was literally towards the end, and they were literally kicking us out of the expo, so we had to go. And one guy came running up, and he literally said to me, he said, "Oh, let's go and get a photo." And other people, the crew were around us at the time. They're going, "Listen, guys, we've got to go because we were going to get out." And the guy literally said, "No, can I just get a photo?" He said to me, Lex, I've got a lot of followers. I cared about whether these people had followers or not, you know. And obviously, somewhere along the line, somebody has had that opinion of him for him to have to try and justify himself by saying, "No, I've got some followers. I'm worthy of having a photo with you." And that's so sad. And I literally said to the kid, I said, "Dude, I don't give a shit whether you're on social media or not. You can have, if you want a photo, you can have a photo." It's absolutely right. And it baffled me that even that came out of his mouth.
I never
It
got
made me a
It
little
bothers
sad,
me
yeah, you know.
at the expos sometimes. People like, there's like a 4-hour queue. and some guy will come up to the top of the queue and they're like, hey, and you're just like, they expect to get their photo taken because they've got like whatever amount of followers. And I don't want to be rude to them, but I'm also like, dude, there's like a 4-hour queue. You know, you go and step in the queue. You know, just because you have this follower, it's like I wouldn't do that.
The only time I think that's okay, for example, is it's like somebody that like you personally
know.
in your life,
100%.
Yeah.
In which case you would go up to them most of the time anyway.
Yeah, but like when it's like someone who's just kind of like, hey,
like, I got followers, or like I got status, like
But I think
status your ass to the back.
That happened a few times. I've seen that.
I think the overall message what we're trying to do is, because we're running up now on 1 hour 24 minutes, so I think we're going to wrap it here.
Yeah.
I think the main thing
before you
here is I think the main message we're trying to tell you guys is understand what you're looking at,
or use a pill.
I think the main thing we should tell people is that have respect for people regardless of following or anything else. People are people and human beings, and just respect each other as humans.
This is
Or pull out.
You know what's crazy though? That actually goes both ways too. It goes towards people need to respect also like social media people at the same time.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of ways I've been disrespected. I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Or
they
treated
feel
like
like
you're
they
not
can-
a human anymore. Just
Like-
like they're in,
Like they can say what they want.
She.
Oh,
On yours. Yeah. I get that on my YouTube. Like it's like, what's wrong with her
every
mouth?
direction.
And I'm like, well,
No, but I mean, welcome to you can't create welcome
Definitely
to the
goes
internet.
all
You're gonna
over.
get some shit regardless
Yeah.
of no matter what you put up on there. I mean, I've seen some just fucking idiotic comments on.
I mean,
there.
like you have
real
management
life,
running your
everything.
page.
Yeah.
Like I wish.
I mean, I'm lucky. I can't say in real life I've had anything other than positive response, but I guess that's the nature of what we put out, we get back. So, that's one as well. So, I think the main one we're saying here is understand what you're looking at on social media, understand who you're following, take a step back. What are you being provided with? Does it help you in your life? If it does, then enjoy it. But also don't be afraid to look elsewhere for information that will actually carry you through long term. I'd like to thank everybody who's been involved so far. Links and everything for everybody to be able to find them will be, if we are on the podcast, it'll be somewhere where you can click it and click through. Everyone's links in there, so make sure to give everybody a follow. Show them some love. If you're watching this on YouTube, links
I
will
need
be
the
in
likes.
the description. if you're watching on YouTube, links will be in the description. From me, Lavado, Lade, Ogus. I'm going to say Brittany instead of Lessa because it's I'm opposing Brittany and the Bobster. We will bring you another podcast as soon as we arrange out how to do it on Skype. If you have any specific that you want us to cover, let us know in whatever description, or maybe even just tweet us.
But if you don't have if you don't have any more than 1,000 followers, don't even bother. So I'm not going to talk to you.
Here's up on social media, let us know what you want to see, and we will catch you in the next podcast, which hopefully will be soon.